Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Good morning, the entire team. I'm Priyanka Shukla, welcoming you all in our Summer Leave 2025. As today we have our special session from our facilitator, Sri P. Lakshminarayanji. Sir will guide us and Sir will taught us some few valuable lessons from Gita. So before starting this session, I would like to share a few words about Sir. Sir is a senior disciple of Swami Parthasarathi, is a dedicated Vedanta scholar and international speaker with over 30 years of experience in teaching Bhagavad Gita and conducting corporate self-management programs. He has inspired audiences across India and abroad with his practical insights on leadership, stress management, and personal excellence. Now, I would like to over this session to Sir. Sir, over to you. Yeah, you may start this session. Thank you. I'm stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Priyanka, and thank you, everyone. It's a privilege to address always students, especially, and of course their parents and teachers. And my association with Jaipuria's school started last year when I had come to Lucknow for lectures. In fact, initially I didn't know anything about Jaipuria schools. Later on, I came to know about them, and then they had organized a lot of lectures for me in different schools. And it was all very well, received. And I also found a lot of students showing a lot of interest in Gita. They were chanting Gita. So I could see that this value is being taken very seriously by the school management and the staff, principal, etc., everybody. So therefore, it is always a privilege to talk to the students who are already introduced to the subject. It makes my job a little easy. So now, today, the topic we have chosen is values from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now, a lot of people look at Bhagavad Gita as something that needs to be studied or contacted after we become 60. But Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the manual of life. It talks about how to live. So how can you learn how to live after having lived your life almost 60, 70 years? So all that Bhagavad Gita teaches is the values, the principles. Because values are nothing but what? Values are nothing but moral principles. Now, we can imbibe values from our parents, from our teachers, from the society. As we grow up, we need to start thinking about those values that we have imbibed, check if they still are valid, check the veracity of it, how important they are they really to be considered as a value, then only taken up. So the value should be taken from our intellect. See, every human being has a physical body, mind, and intellect. It is the intellect that should give us the values. But the intellect starts developing around the age 10, 11, 12, etc. Till then, it's the body and the mind that is developing. So therefore, at home, in schools, in society, everywhere, we should see the elders living these values. You understand? And because in the Bhagavad Gita, third chapter of the Gita, called as Karma Yoga, verse 21, Sri Krishna says, Yadyad acharati shreshtaha tat tat eva itara janaha. Whatever standard a leader sets, that alone the followers will follow. So at home, if you are practicing certain value as a father or a mother or a grandfather or a grandmother, this is what the children will automatically imbibe. Similarly, when they come to school, what kind of values that are being practiced in school by the teachers, the principal, the staff, everybody, right? That's what they'll absorb. Same thing in the society. What kind of values are being practiced by the elders? That's what the children will imbibe. So the followers will mechanically take those values. Now, by the time they come to 11 or 12, when the intellect starts questioning, they should think about those values that they've absorbed from the parents, society, teachers, and then recast their value system. But very often we don't do that. So first of all, it is very important to see what is the importance of values. What is the role values play in our life? Why should we imbibe values? What does value do to our life? First thing the value does is it enhances the quality of our life. It adds value to our life. Now, in the, there is something called as value added tax, VAT. VAT is imposed upon products. For example, if you are just producing tomato, I don't think so there is VAT for it, because there is no value added to it. Now, if you make pickle out of that potato and then market it and then sell it, then a value is added to that, the tomato. So the government imposes value added tax to that. So when we imbibe certain values, it adds value to our life. And when it adds value to our life, what does it do? It strengthens our inner personality to face the challenges of life. That is the second point we need to understand. Firstly, it adds value to our life. And by adding value, our inner personality becomes strong, so that we become more fortified from within to be able to face the challenges of life. We become more independent. We become a contributor to the society rather than being a dependent entity. And third, most important thing the value does to us is it makes the mind more calm and balanced. Values make our mind more calm and balanced. Without values, without moral principles, if we lead our life, our mind's nature is to go to the worries of the past and anxieties of the future, crave for what it does not have, and get attached to what it has, and simply go about living to fulfill likes and dislikes. All these things will make the mind more agitated and imbalanced. So therefore, when we bring in values fortified by our buddhi, then the mind becomes more calm, composed, serene, balanced. So values render our mind more calm and balanced. And when our mind becomes calm and composed, serene, we are able to think better. We develop clarity of thinking, and through that we are able to act correctly, and that increases productivity. You understand? Values make our mind calm, balanced. And by keeping ourselves calm and balanced, we are able to be more productive. Today, when the mind is disturbed, agitated, to that extent, we are not that productive. We are all functioning like chicken without head. When they, when you see in the shop, sometimes they bring the live chicken, they cut the head first. And the chicken is jumping for a while without head. Like that, all of us are simply jumping, thinking that we are doing work, but it's hardly there is any productivity in such activity. So when our mind becomes calm, composed, serene, balanced, we will be able to be more productive. And then we will also be able to see the harmony around us. It brings harmony. It brings about harmony everywhere. When in society, everybody lives life based on values, higher principles. Then what happens is there is harmony, there is dharma, there is peace. It combines both peace and prosperity. These are the reasons why we should, imbibe values, bring in values in our life. Values are in our inner personality. They are the ones who are guiding us into the life. So it's extremely important to recheck our values, recast our value system. And Bhagavad Gita has a lot of values. It talks about plenty of values. Now, the list is endless. And today the session is going to be only for 1 hour. And also we thought we'll make it little interactive if there are any questions. But I would request you to keep your questions at the end. In the beginning, I'll just complete the values that I would like to discuss. Then in the end, once I complete, if you want to ask any questions, you may please go ahead. So I thought we'll just take some 10 values and discuss about that Gita talks about. The first and foremost value that Srimad Bhagavad Gita talks about is action, karma. Karma means action. And second, it emphasizes on doing that karma as a yajna. Yajna means sacrificial activity. Each of these values first I'll just mention. Then I'll go about explaining them in detail. This is the way we will continue this talk. So the first value we are going to be discussing is karma, action. And then yajna. Yajna means converting your action into a worship, into a sacrifice. And third, dana. Dana means gift, charity, being charitably disposed, sharing, not just taking everything to myself. Sharing is a beautiful value that Gita talks about, dana. And then tapas. Tapas means austerity. Vedanta says, Gita says, there has to be tapas in our life. Tapas is also translated as austerity, discipline, effort, etc. So, what is this tapas? We'll see in detail later. So, that is one important value. In fact, in the 18th chapter of the Gita, when Arjuna is asking Sri Krishna, please clarify me, what is the difference between Tyaga and Sannyas? What is Tyag? What is Sannyas? That's the question Arjuna is asking Sri Krishna. And when Sri Krishna is talking about all this, what is Tyag, what is Sannyas? He says, in my opinion, you should not give up 3 things in life. You should never renounce 3 things in life. And he says, they are yajna, dana, tapa. Yajna, dana, tapa should not be renounced, he says. So we are taking those things as values here. Karma, yajna, dana, tapa. And then another important value that Gita mentions very often is saucham. Saucham. Saucham means purity, cleanliness. Especially in our country, now when Prime Minister Modi started that campaigning, Swachh Bharat, what is that he is trying to do? Clean, right? As much as possible. So this is mentioned in our Gita. Very many places you will see Suchihi, Saucham, all these things are mentioned. Another important value that all of us must have, especially in today's context, it is missing a lot, is ahimsa, non-violence. Today, road rage is something very common, isn't it? And also, I get information from teachers and school management that a lot of children are becoming very violent. One other day, one parent was talking to me about what happened in the school in which her child is studying. One child, maybe, when I say child, the boy must have been like 8-year-old. He's trying to push another boy from the staircase. So there's so much of violence. And Gita talks about ahimsa principle. And this is most misunderstood principle, ahimsa. Literally translated as what? Non-violence. Right? So, though it is non-violence, we need to really understand what it is. And then kshama. Kshama means forgiveness. Forgiveness is a brilliant value. It is more important for the person who is forgiving than the person who is being forgiven. A lot of times what we think is forgiving is important for the person who is forgiven. Now we are going to see how forgiving is more important for the person who is forgiving. So kshama means forgiving, forgiveness. Then titiksha. Titiksha means endurance, patience. This again is lacking today. Hardly anybody has any patience. Everybody wants to be in a hurry. Everybody is in a hurry. They're constantly running, helter skelter, not knowing what they are doing. And then he talks about Aniketa. Aniketa is a beautiful name actually. And he says it's a quality of a jnani, meaning one who has the knowledge of the highest. And Aniketa literally means homeless. One who is homeless. Not homeless does not mean one who is on the streets. So what is this homeless we are going to study? And then last but not the least, we are going to be talking about Sakshi. Sakshi means witness, means objectivity. In life, we need to have this objectivity. In fact, when we study the Gita, when we study Vedanta, ultimately we should become a Sakshi. The problem in today's world is we are all so much caught up, involved. And as a result, we have lost the peace of mind. We are all stressed and strained. There is a lot of swelling, but there is hardly any growth. And we are mistaking the swelling for growth. This is the problem. We are mistaking swelling for growth. That is not growth. So therefore, these are the 10 values that we will be studying today. The first and foremost value is action. See, Bhagavad Gita talks about action. In Vedanta, in many places, action is being mentioned, karma, So what is this karma, action? Nobody knows. What is the importance of action? Why should I act? Action is the insignia of life. Inaction is death. There's a saying in English, if you rest, you will rust. If you rest, you will rust. Now, there is no Sunday for sun. And we also don't have any Sunday. Jaipurias and Priyanka makes me work on Sundays also. And I'm happily working. Not that I'm frustrated. Not only that, in fact, every Sunday, I have my classes. In fact, after your session, firstly, they requested me to do this session from 10 to 11. But I have a class every Sunday from 11 to 12. So therefore, I said, let's keep it from 9:30 to 10:30. So sun has no Sunday. If sun takes few days off, there won't be world. There won't be anything on earth. All of us will perish. So Gita talks about this value of action. Yet a lot of people, I don't know how they started misunderstanding Gita to be spreading inaction. That's why they're so worried. अरे बाबा, इतना जल्दी, इतना छोटा उम्र में आप भगवत गीता पढ़ रहे हैं? क्या हो गया? लव फेलियर है क्या? लव फेलियर हो गया? टीनेज में जा रहा है? Or are you going to file a divorce? Is there some relationship problem? Or have you lost work? Have they thrown you out of job? Only like Kabir, Sant Kabir says, no. Dukh mein simran sab kare. Sukh mein kare na koi. Isn't it? Nobody is interested in Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita when things are going on fine. Corona time, my students list increased. Because everybody is worried, Job is gone, this is gone, whether people will live or not. Now again, Corona is increasing, they're telling in all these cities. So I'm expecting a lot more students to join our Gita class. You understand? So the point is, Gita doesn't talk about inaction. In fact, Arjuna wanted to leave the battle and run away. Sri Krishna told you cannot do that, you have to do your duty. You cannot run away. Gita talks about action. In fact, there's a shloka in 3rd chapter of the Gita. He says, Nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit karyate hyavashak karma sarva prakriti jairgunehi. None will be able to remain inactive even for a moment. And if you stop acting, you will perish. And for the maintenance of the body, you got to do something or the other. We should not remain without action. And yet in this country, we need to talk about this as a value, very important today. Gita was given many, many years ago, thousands of years ago. In spite of it, even today there is hardly any action. Karenge, dekenge, sochenge, ho jayega. Kab? Files are not moving, taking so much time to decide. That's why Swami Vivekananda got fed up. He said, go play football. No, because Swami Vivekananda comes from Bengal. Nowadays in Bengal, they started playing cricket also, but traditionally they are so much fond of soccer, football. So Swami Vivekananda said, go and play football. You fellows need a lot more rajas. Instead of becoming sattvic, we have become tamasic, lazy, lethargic, hardly any action. Somebody rings the bell, you'll be sitting and watching TV. Not that you're busy with some work. You'll be sitting and watching TV, and somebody is ringing the bell, and the door, main door is hardly 5 meters, 10 meters away. But you will say, Chotu. You want some Chotu who is working in your house to come and open the door. You want a glass of water, Chotu. You understand? For everything you call Chotu. Why can't you do the action? Action does not mean that we go to the gym, we exercise. Not just that. Throughout the day, how enthusiastic we are. How much are we looking forward for action? Do we look forward for Monday mornings or Friday evenings? If you study Vedanta, if you study Gita, you will start a restaurant by the name TGIM. But today the restaurant that is very popular is TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Isn't it? Everybody is looking forward for Friday evenings. But you should be looking forward for Monday mornings. In the sense, there has to be enthusiasm to work, enthusiasm to contribute. From the time we are born, we are constantly taking from the society. We are taking oxygen, gravitational force is functioning. So many factors are working together to make us live this life. You understand? So therefore, we have an obligation to pay back. So we must act. And we must act in the spirit of yajna. That's the second value. Yajna today is understood as only fire worship. Isn't it? A lot of people conduct yajna. I'm not saying you should not conduct fire worship. Yajna. It has a lot of meaning and significance. We should follow the tradition. But why should it stop at just fire worship? In fact, in the Gita, Sri Krishna revolutionizes this concept of yajna. He talks about 12 yajnas. He talks about 12 yajnas. And one of the yajna he talks about is Gita Jnana Yajna. Now, on the board you are seeing 5 Mahayajna. That is different. That is something else. I'll talk about it. But in the Gita, he talks about 12 yajnas. Those 12 yajnas, in that he talks about Gita, he talks about Jnana Yajna. And Swami Chinyananda, taking the cue from Bhagavad Gita, this Jnana Yajna, he started the ritual called Gita Jnana Yajna. Every year, Guru goes to different cities and conducts Gita lecture for 4 or 5 days or 7 days, depending upon the length of the chapter. So, sacrifice is the literal meaning of yajna. In yajna, when they conduct yajna, I can't go into too much of details because we have only 1 hour, and in that 1 hour we have to complete all the 10 values. You understand? So I'll just highlight. And if some of you are interested, then you can join our classes, weekly classes, which are online. You can inform Priyanka, and Priyanka will coordinate with us, and then you'll be able to join our classes where we discuss all these things in detail. So yajna means sacrifice. So what is happening in yajna? There is a kund in which a lot of wood is kept, and they churn the wood, the fire starts, and then the priest starts chanting mantras, and the participants have brought a lot of dravya, grains, ghee, and each one of them, they come and pour the ghee or offer the dravya, and the fire shoots up, and completely the wood is burnt, and then the yajna is concluded. They take the ashes and smear on their forehead in 3 stripes, and then they visit a nearby temple. The yajna concludes. This is the fire worship. Now, what is happening in this, if you see, there is an offering and there is a kindling. These are the 2 important aspects we need to remember in yajna. In yajna, all the participants, they come and offer into the fire. Fire is taken to represent God. Because space, air, fire, water, earth, these are the 5 elements that make this world. Space cannot be seen, air cannot be seen. The first element that can be seen in the order of subtlety is fire. So they've taken fire to represent God. So what is this yajna signifying? We must do our activities as an offering to God. And where is God? God is everywhere. So when we do our actions as an offering to all beings, not just human beings, of course to all human beings, but to all beings, then we are conducting yajna. If I do action only for myself, only for my family, that is not yajna. When I do actions which is in the interest of my nation, which is in the interest of the humanity, which is in the interest of all species, that is called yajna. So you offer it to God, divinity, which has manifested as the entire universe. And then when you do that, the fire is shooting up, isn't it? When you pour ghee into the fire, when you offer the grains into the fire shoots up. Meaning what? The God gives you the prasad with a lot of productivity. There'll be a lot of prosperity around. When we function like this, each one doing what they can in the interest of the total, then there will be a lot of cooperation. And as a result of that, there will be a lot of productivity. You understand? There will be prosperity and harmony. Therefore, he says you must function in the spirit of yajna in life, not just conduct ritual. Please do that every day. Tradition has to continue every day, or whenever you have to do the rituals, please do that. But don't stop at that. You have to translate that into daily living. And he says there are Pancha Mahayajna. This is mentioned in our Shastras. Pancha Mahayajnas, which is mentioned for the grahasthas to do on a daily basis. They are called as Brahma Yajna or Rishi Rinaha. Brahma Yajna is also called as Rishi Rinaha. And then Deva Yajna. And then Pitri Yajna. And then Bhuta Yajna. Then Manusha Yajna. Brahma Yajna, Deva Yajna, Pitri Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, Manusha Yajna. What he's trying to say here is Brahma Yajna or Rishi Rinaha. Rina means, gratitude. We all have a Rina to the Rishis, the sages and saints who has given us these Shastras. You understand? So therefore, every day sitting and studying the Shastra, reflecting upon the knowledge given by the Gurus is a yajna that we have to do. Are we doing that? Bhagavad Gita you will buy, keep it in the puja room, and then everyday worship. Hari Om. Bhagavad Gita को एक नमस्कार बोलेंगे सुबह, रात को सोने से पहले एक नमस्कार. बस. Who is opening and studying? Hardly anybody. Or Some people may open up and then by heart the shlokas. Who's going into the shlokas, understanding the meaning and trying to imbibe it? Hardly anybody. So, Brahma Yajna means studying the scriptures. This is the offering we can give to the great sages. They don't want anything from us. They are all paripurna, contented. We cannot give them anything. All we can do, how we can pay our gratitude to them, by studying the scriptures daily. So he calls that as Brahma Yajna or Rishi Rinaha. Then Deva Yajna. Devas means not to be understood as some, superior beings alone. Devas mean all these manifested powers are all divine powers, like rain god, sun god. All of this we call as gods, isn't it? They are all devas. In the sense, all the manifested powers, we worship them as gods. All these manifested powers are nothing but divinity's manifestation. So each of them, we look at them as different gods. And to them, we have to pay back. In the sense, we need to work in a way that we maintain ecological balance. Today, what is happening? We are going on cutting trees, mindlessly cutting trees. Hardly anybody is planting trees, isn't it? So what he's saying is Deva Yajna. You have to understand that you have to contribute to these manifested powers. Then the manifested powers will contribute to you. Correct time, the rain will come. Correct quantity will come. Otherwise, there will be cloud burst. So what is happening is the onus is on the human beings to live in unison with the ecological system. So that is called as Deva Yajna. Then Pitru Yajna. I will not be what I am today without my parents, my grandparents, my ancestors. Similarly, you won't be what you are today without your parents, your grandparents and ancestors. So we have to have gratitude to our ancestors. We have to imbibe those values they lived for in our life. That is the way we can pay back to our ancestors. That's called Pitru Yajna. Then comes Bhuta Yajna. To all the beings around, we need to live in such a way. What is happening is today we throw plastics everywhere and we let loose our cows onto the streets. And a lot of cows, unfortunately, they eat the plastics also along with the other stuff. And it has gone into their stomach, and a lot of cows you see dying because of all these things. Who is responsible for it? We are responsible for it. Bhuta Yajna. You have to offer to the birds. You have to offer to the other animals, other species. In South India, we have a tradition of drawing the rangoli in front of the houses. Originally, the rangolis used to be drawn using rice flour. Nowadays, nobody uses rice flour. They use another powder which has a lot of chemical, which is actually detrimental for the ants. So those days, what they used to do is they draw the rangolis using rice flour so that the ants feed upon them. So the thinking is, let us make everybody live and we also live. Let live, then we can live. That is Bhuta Yajna. Then comes Manushya Yajna. We are all taking from each other. We need to contribute to each other. We must function in the spirit of Yajna. We must be sharing. And that's the next value that Gita emphasizes. Dhanam. Dhanam means gift. And he says, what is gift? What is this charity? You should give to everybody, but most importantly, to somebody who need not have done anything to you, but they are in dire straight requirement, and you help them out. That is essential for you, he says, with no expectations whatsoever. Giving to a stranger who need not have done anything to you, and with no expectations. You should do giving as an obligation. You understand? What goes around comes around. If you are a person who who is sharing, you will see in life abundance come to you also. Isn't it? Even breathing. To be able to breathe in fresh air, we have to breathe out the stale air. If you don't breathe out, you only breathe in, you will die. That's it, gone. You have to breathe out so that you can breathe in. You understand? So therefore, Victor Hugo, in his play Les Miserables, he says, life is to give, not to take. We should summarize our life with this Victor Hugo's quotation. It says, life is to give, not to take. We are all looking for sale. Kab sale aayega? So that I can buy things at a lesser cost. I should think, let the traders also make money. They are also my family. We are all one family, Vasudeva Kutumba. You understand? So we should think in terms of sharing our wealth with everybody. Everybody has to live, right? Then only the system will work. Now, recently there was a war situation and we were sleeping peacefully. But what about them? Those who are guarding the country? How will they get their salaries if we don't share our wealth? Oh, I have to pay tax. My God. So, dhanam, that has to be a value in us. Life is to give, not to take. And charity ought not to be judged based on the intention it supports. You should not do charity only based on the intention. My intention is good. Even though your intention is good, you're giving to somebody who's using it for buying drugs and destroying themselves. And you are not doing any checking. Simply mechanically you're giving. That is wrong. He says charity that you give should make both the donor and the donee evolve. As the person receives from you, he or she should become more independent. We should not give in such a way that the other fellow becomes more dependent on the society. Are you getting this? So therefore, that way we have to use our buddhi, think and then give. There's a lot more to discuss about dhanam. Dhanam itself we can discuss for 1 hour. Right? So this is a very, very important value. And then comes tapas. Tapas means austerity, discipline. What is this austerity? Why it is important? See, all of us have a mind. We are all, in fact, we are called as Manushya because we have manas. Manas is mind in English. So we are all having mind, manas. And the nature of the mind is extroversion. It will keep running externally without any direction. It lacks direction or dimension. It keeps running externally. It wants everything. Dil mange more. Isn't it? That is the advertisement they say for some chips or something. Or Pepsi, I think. Pepsi. Dil mange more. You understand? Mind always asks for more. Ek aur de do. Ek aur, ek aur, ek aur. You will now think that if I get to a billionaire status in dollars or pounds, not rupees, I'll be fine. But once you get to that status, you will still ask for more. That is the mind. And it keeps on running externally and dissipates our energy. We are all bundle of energy. We need to direct our energy. And therefore, we need tapas. What is tapas? Tapas has twofold discipline. First aspect of tapas is conservation of energy that is getting dissipated in the lower channels. That is the first aspect of tapas. Conservation of energy that is getting dissipated in the lower channels. And then what do you do? What do you do with the conserved energy? You direct the conserved energy towards the higher goal. So tapas means you must have a higher goal, something beyond your selfish, self-centered interest. Think of your family. If you're just thinking about yourself, today. Then from family, you escalate it to your community. Then from community, you escalate it to your country. Then country, you escalate it to humanity. From humanity, you escalate it to all species. Keep on escalating your goal. Understand? Goal means something beyond your selfish, self-centered interest. So the higher the goal, the greater the energy. The lower the goal, the lesser the energy. And lower the goal, you will be asking for more. You will be like a beggar in the world. As a result, your mind will be going extrovertedly, dissipating energy. You find all great people, they had tremendous energy. People who served this nation for freedom fighting and all that, some of them were very, very old. From where are they getting that energy? My guru, our guru is 98 years old. Now, Swami Parthasarathy is 98 years old. Even today, people take appointment from him and he gives knowledge to them in whatever capacity he can. You understand? We have to constantly be giving, sacrificing, serving. So the energy has to be utilized in a proper way, channelized. If the river doesn't have banks, the water will go and inundate the fields. Instead of helping the agriculture grow, it will destroy the fields. So we need to channelize our energy, conserve the energy that is getting dissipated in the lower channels. Especially children today, mostly caught up in social media, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know what else, YouTube maybe. Our energy. I'm not saying we should not contact the technology. Technology is very important. But little bit, we have to control. We have to have discipline. How much time? What time? When? Morning time is, mind is so calm. Use it for studying and reflecting. That time, don't sit and watch your YouTube. You understand? So use it. Okay, you want little relaxation. Maybe in the evening or sometime for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. So this is conservation of energy that is getting dissipated in the lower channels. And that conserved energy has to be directed towards the higher goal. As students, since a lot of students, I'm told, are attending this session, what you have to do is you have to conserve those energies and direct it towards your studying, reflecting, have a schedule, dinachara. Whatever the teacher teaches every day, you study, come home, have a set timetable, go play, enjoy with your friends. They are also important. But have a particular time for watching your YouTube, for your FaceTime and all that. Facebook and all that. Then you sit and study, channelize your energy in that direction. That is tapas. Anything that will take you away from your goal, control. What will take you away from your goal? Late night sleeping so late, and then getting up late or not having enough sleep. Next day morning you study and you're not really that focused enough to study. And then you come to the school also, you're not that fresh. What are you doing? You're destroying your life. So therefore there has to be tapas. It's a very important aspect, very important value. Nothing can be achieved without mehnat, without austerity, without tapas. Tapasya of a lot of freedom fighters is what is making us live freely today. You understand? So the teachers are also putting in tapas. They are putting so much tapas. They have their own family. They have to make sure that they serve their family also. And then they come and teach to the best of their ability. So they are also doing tapas. So we also need to do tapas. Parents are also doing tapas. You don't have to worry about your food on table, your clothes, your shelter. Everything is taken care of by parents' efforts. So you have an obligation to do your tapas. Please understand this. So that is tapas. And then next value is shaucham. Shaucham means purity, cleanliness. See, cleanliness does not mean just keeping the environment clean. Cleanliness means being alert, You are aware of dirt within and without. See, if you are not aware of dirt within, how are you going to improve yourself? And for you to see the dirt within, which is subtle, you need to be aware of the dirt without. See, what is happening today is Ganges is supposed to be our, what do you call, very, very important river for us, isn't it? Right? But see how the Ganges is kept. So much dirt. Yamuna, so much dirt. Ganga, Yamuna, Kaveri, all these rivers we say are very, very important rivers. We worship them, but we are keeping them so dirty. Forget that, even temples, places of worship, so dirty. So if we are not, we have to put in effort to keep our environment clean. But you cannot 100% keep it clean. How much ever you clean, suddenly you just would have cleaned, within 5 minutes, maybe Andhi came. So you cannot keep it 100% clean, that we understand. But you have to be aware of dirt. External dirt, if you are aware, then only you can deal with the internal dirt. If you are not even able to be aware of the dirt outside, how are you going to clean the dirt inside? Will it be even possible? And where are we keeping our environments clean? Our places of worship, are they clean? My bag, for example, every day I'm using my bag. सब कुछ उसका अंदर डाल देता है and I forget. I don't throw it. But I don't check my bag once a week, once in 2 days, once in 3 days. I empty my bag and see what all I need to keep, what all I need to throw, what all needs to be filed elsewhere. Do I do that? No, I don't have time. Time. सबके कोई भी, nobody has time. So what's happening? Bag is also not clean, and we have to search. I put this thing inside this bag only, I'm not able to find. Then you get agitated. You throw everything, and then you somehow find what you want. Why can't you keep it organized? You understand? And when you keep things organized, you save a lot of time. Busy. Everybody's busy means you're not organized. An organized person has a lot of time in the world. A busy person has no time, which means he's not organized. So we have to be alert. We also have to be alert of the inner dirts like procrastination, postponing. We are all not at all time conscious. Today's session we started exactly 9:30. First time I'm seeing. Otherwise, usually, sorry, 2 more people have to come. We'll start at 9:35. Please. Punctuality is also part of Shaucham. We have to clean that dirt of procrastination. In our blood, it is there. Procrastinating, postponing, not doing things on time. And we are not, sir, what time is the thing? It's on time. 9:30, it's on time. And I'm asking, what time is our session? They're telling it's on time, which is supposed to start at 9:30, but it's 9:35 already. And they're saying it's on time. Which means what? They are not even aware that they're late. So Shaucha means cleanliness, purity, being alert, aware of dirt within and without. And then ahimsa. Himsa means violence. Ahimsa means non-violence. Non-violence is what? We should be incapacitated to hurt any being mentally. It is not that physically sometimes, like child is there. The child is suffering from cold, cough, and the doctor has told the child should not eat certain things, ice creams, etc. But the child is adamant. I want ice cream. The child is going on throwing tantrums. So what do? You sometimes, to control the child, Sometimes, mark my words carefully, sometimes, Shakespeare says, sometimes you have to be cruel only to be kind. In this, each and every word is important. Sometimes you have to be cruel only to be kind. So, some places you might have to be physically violent. That is not going to happen every day. You understand? Like this war situation, there obviously they have to fight with somebody who is trying to destroy us. Then obviously you need to fight back as a deterrent. You understand? As a defense. So that is called, that is not violence. Violence means you have hurtful feeling towards somebody. You may not physically go and hurt them because you are afraid that fellow is strong. Supposing Mike Tyson comes and says, "Hey, come man, let's have a fight." I'm saying, no, I practice ahimsa. I don't fight with anybody. But if somebody who is just 10-year-old, I slap the child. This is another thing I want to tell to parents or teachers, anybody. You have no right to raise your hands against your children. Okay, some other session we'll have on parenting. Then I'll talk about many more things. But I just wanted to mention this here. They are children. Therefore, you're slapping them. Go and try and slap Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson. Huh? Why don't you do that? So, it is having no hurtful feeling towards any beings. You should understand that all beings are expression of divinity. So I should not have any violent feeling towards any being. That is called ahimsa. And then kshama. Kshama means kshama, not shama. Shama means mind control. It's also a very important value. I'm not talking about it today. Kshama, comes there. Kshama means forgiveness. And I told you, forgiveness is more important for the person who's forgiving than the person who's forgiven. When you don't forgive, you are creating a karma for yourself. I want to finish the flow. I don't like him at all. You're all the time you're having so much of anger without forgiving, without letting go. And that is what manifests as disease much later. Please understand this. You have so much of hurtful feeling towards so many people. उसको मैं मारना चाहिए, उसको मैं खत्म करना चाहिए. You're not forgiving. उसका मैं जिंदा नहीं छोड़ेंगे. All that is what? Thoughts. And those thoughts that you have for a long period of time slowly manifest as disease in you. So you must learn to let go. You understand? So there's a beautiful quotation in English. It says, forgiveness is the fragrance a violet releases as the foot crushes it. Beautiful, isn't it? Forgiveness is a fragrance a violet releases as the foot crushes it. Feet is crushing the violet flower. Violet is the flower. And when the feet is crushing the flower, the violet is releasing fragrance. Like that, somebody is doing something wrong to you. Internally, you see, array, this fellow has not got proper upbringing. That's why he is behaving like this. Somebody is calling you donkey, monkey, buffalo. You understand? You understand. This fellow is not brought up properly. I had the fortune of being brought up properly. Poor fellow, he didn't have that opportunity. Therefore, he is behaving like this. So internally, I should have forgiveness. Externally, I might have to take certain actions. I can't say forgive. A lot of people have this confusion. Sir, forgiveness means what? Then people will start using me as a doormat. No, that is not what Vedanta is saying. Forgiveness means it's an attitude. It is giving at the mental level. Please remember this. What is forgiveness? Giving at the mental level. You look at from the other person's point of view. This fellow is having this kind of behavior because he's not brought up properly. So there may be certain actions to be taken to rehabilitate that guy. So, as a teacher, as a principal, as the management, father, mother, we might have to do certain things. But inside, there has to be forgiveness. You understand? It is called kshama, giving at the mental level. Then, very important quality in life, value in life is titiksha, patience, endurance, putting up with inconvenience cheerfully. See, while I was growing up during my time and all, nobody informs you, especially friends and relatives. Suddenly they'll end up in your house, night 10 o'clock. And those days, last bus will be around 9:30. Not that everybody had a scooter and all. Scooter, very few people had. Bicycles, maybe a lot of people had, but you can't come 25 kilometers in bicycle. So they used to come by bus. Suddenly the relative is landed up at home with his children, 4 or 5 children. And we would have 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom house. And we are already 4 or 5 people in the house. Another 5 people have come. You understand? But nobody said, "Arey, you didn't call, you didn't inform us, nothing. Kya hai?" First thing they say, "Acha, acha, aye, very good, you've come. Okay, did you eat? Did you eat dinner?" They said, "No, sorry, yaar, we couldn't eat. No, we got delayed." They said, okay, no problem. Suddenly, okay, immediately they'll make something, some poha, something they'll make, they serve them, and they'll all adjust and sleep. It is called putting up with inconvenience joyfully, cheerfully, not kya kare yaar, aa gaya, karna padta hai, I'll adjust. No, that is not titiksha. Titiksha means joyfully, cheerfully, putting up with inconvenience. That is called titiksha. What cannot be changed has to be endured. What cannot be cured has to be endured. Right? So we must develop this endurance. See, this endurance will develop a lot of resilience capacity. And that is needed to achieve anything in life. If you wish to achieve something great in life, you better develop this quality, titiksha. Once upon a time, I used to be involved in a certain business before coming to Vedanta and all that. So, a particular client made me wait for 1.5 hours. Though my time was given before to meet him, something happened in his company, important thing. So he was apologizing and said, sir, please wait, please wait. So 1.5 hours I was waiting. And then he gave me huge business. Not because of that, and he's become so close to me. My point is, to achieve something in life, you need patience, endurance, put up with inconvenience cheerfully, not allow your mind to be disturbed. So titiksha is another important quality, important value. Then comes aniketa. Aniketa means homeless. Homeless does not mean you are on the street, you should sell your house and come on the street. No. Homeless means not having the attitude of possessiveness towards your home, towards your family, towards your children, towards your spouse, towards your anything, towards everything. You should understand, if I have wealth today, it is given to me by God. It is Bhagavan's, mera nahi hai. Isn't it? Don't we sing that when we do Aarti after puja, we sing that, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. In that we say, Tera tujhko arpan, kya lage mera. Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Isn't it? So everything is Bhagavan's. We are all trustees. Bhagavan has trusted us and has given us these things. We should have the trusteeship attitude, not ownership attitude. When you have ownership attitude, you will be agitated. When you have trusteeship attitude, you will be calm, composed, serene, which will help you to be more productive and prosperous. So aniketa means being non-possessive. You understand? Not having possessive attitude towards anything, towards any of your possessions. And then last but not the least, last value, sakshi. In fact, we call it as bhava, also attitude. Sakshi means being a witness. Now, I'm invited to talk to you from 9:30 to 10:30. So I have to be a witness while I'm talking. I cannot get involved. And then go on till 10:45, 10:50, 11 o'clock, forgetting that I have another session. You understand? So I must be a witness. While I'm talking, one aspect of my personality, my intellect, is watching me doing things. This is called objectivity. And when I have this objectivity, without getting involved, I'll be able to deliver my actions properly, fully, totally, which will bring me success and peace. Therefore, we should all have this Sakshi Bhav, not get involved. As a Vedanta teacher, I'm invited to give this talk from 9:30 to 10:30. And this is a role I play. I play that with full objectivity and get out. Then 11 to 12, another session. I do that, get out. Then after 12, maybe I need to do my obligation as a father, as a son, something else. I go and do that and get out. Like that, when I do everything with total objectivity, that is called Sakshi. So these are some of the values that we have seen today from the Gita. Gita has innumerable values. So study of Gita and imbibing the principles from Gita will enhance the quality of our life. With that, I'll conclude today's session. Now, if you have any questions, you may please ask. Thank you. Does anyone have any question?
Some of the students have raised their hands, sir. Shall I make them as a panelist?
Yes, please.
Anybody who wants to ask anything, you can raise your hand. We will make you panelist. Till the time I'm sending panelist request to Shivani Soni. Adya, you want to ask anything from sir? अब बोलो.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please tell me.
Ma'am, what is surface?
Pardon? What is?
Surface.
Surface. I didn't understand what she's asking. Selfless. Selfless. Are you asking about selfless, beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good. Selfless means not thinking only from your point of view. As a student of a school, what are my obligations? As a child of a family, what are my obligations? Looking at it from the total angle, that is called selfless. Not just looking at from your angle, what can I get? I meet somebody, what can I get from him? Then it is selfish. Selfless means what I can do for that person. How I can make that person happy, by which I can also be happy. You get it, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good question.
Any other student who wants to ask anything? Atharv, you want to ask anything?
No, ma'am.
Arush, you want to ask anything from sir?
Yes, sir. Sir, what is Devyagta?
What is dedicated yajna?
Devyagta.
Okay.
Sir, Devyagta.
Acha, okay. See, Devas, I told you, Devas means all the manifested powers of this world is considered as Bhagavan. Can you live without sun? Can you live without rain? We cannot live without rain. We cannot live without sun. We cannot live without fire, warmth. Like that, everything in this universe, which are taken in our Shastras as devas, as gods. Okay. So now, since we need rain, we need to make sure we live life in such a way that we plant more trees. We don't cut trees. If you say, if I cut more trees, I can get a lot of wood and then I can make more money. And I cut more trees, then what will happen? There won't be rain. Or there will be a lot more heat. And it will cause a lot of problems like global warming and all that is happening today. You understand? So therefore, when I live in life, I should be conscious of this entire ecological system. And with that consciousness, I should live. For example, today what do? You means anybody. I don't mean just you. I just like that want to go from one place to another in my Mercedes-Benz car, burning so much fuel and spreading pollution in the city. Just like that, I want to go and have ice cream, and that too only in that particular ice cream shop, which is 25 kilometers away. Okay. Now, why can't we have carpool? We have carpool when we go to school, right? Then, instead of each one polluting, in one car, 4 students are going. In one bus, 30, 40 students are going. So that there is less pollution. Do you understand, beta? This is called Deva Yajna in today's context. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session.
Thank you, Hari Om.
I'm
It was a
thanking
pleasure.
you, all of you, for the entire team of Seth Hemajapurya schools. And surely you made our Sunday very special, very insightful. It's our honor to have you here today.